Hey, Sugar, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do a review on the latest Dua Lipa album, Future Nostalgia. So, Dua Lipa, British singer-songwriter, very famous pop star, and again, you may not know her if you've been living under a rock. You may not know her really well if you've been living under a rock, but if you've been paying attention to the music industry lately, she has been making a few hits, but only a few because she's really not all that of a veteran, you know, and none of her songs have actually wowed me yet. And this is actually her sophomore album, her second LP. And her first album, while I didn't listen to it all that much, I still think a majority of the songs there are just okay, kind of average, kind of generic. And I really didn't care to listen to more of her music because A, I'm not a huge pop music fan. B, her songs aren't really all that great. But recently, everybody's saying, "Oh, Future Nostalgia is the best pop album of the year, even though it's only March. Wow, it's great. It's crazy." So I was like, fine, I'll listen to it. Fine. Now, her musical formula is pretty within the ordinary with her seductive, raspy, expressive vocals, the instrumentals being mostly I wouldn't say generic, but average, not all that experimental, nothing all that special or outstanding. But with her sophomore LP, I can see sort of a special formula going on each of the songs on this LP. In that, um, musically, this album is actually very late 80s, early 90s inspired, therefore the name Future Nostalgia. And at the same time, this album is also incredibly cohesive, given that most of the songs on this album also follow the same formula with a slick, groovy bass, catchy, flowery, poppy vocals, nice, catchy hooks and choruses, maybe some reverby pianos and keyboards in the back. These songs on this album are all very cohesive. It's almost like they are all going together with one single artistic vision. And also, I feel like this album has so much more charisma and personality than her previous album, and also some other pop music contemporaries in the recent years. So I gave this album an opportunity and I listened to it for a few times, and um I don't think it's as great as people say it is. It's definitely not one of the more memorable pop albums ever, but I'd say it's not bad, and it is actually a pretty pleasant surprise. So the album starts off with the title track Future Nostalgia, and at first, Dua Lipa kind of raps, or at least spoken word, but with rhymes and rhythm. So I guess it's kind of like rap. And it's just okay, not really all that great. But then the chorus and the hooks hit the song and they sound really fresh, really groovy, really catchy. We also get some vocoded synths on the entire song, which I find. And we also got some vocoded synths on the entire track, which I think is a really nice, refreshing touch as the opener of the album. And then we have the second track, Don't Start Now, where it's finally starting to get magical. The track sort of. Jesus Christ. The track sort of starts off with this piano line, which is very generic, very average, and we get some swelling reverb keyboards. And then suddenly, for a couple of seconds later, it just stops with the vocals continuing on top, and then we get this very groovy, thick, slick bass line. And man, when I listen to a song with such an awesome groovy bass, I cannot resist it. I think it's really awesome. I think the vocals on this track have a lot of personality as well. And overall, it's a really awesome slick bass pop jam, even though I wish that there's more dynamic and progression on this track. Still, I'm enjoying it. We have the track Cool as the third track, which isn't really all that special. It's basically just an average emotional pop song about having a crush on someone, losing your cool when you see someone hot, you know? Which, now that I have said this line, it kind of makes sense. And we also have the track Physical, one of the big singles leading up to this track. And it's this loud, dramatic pop song about getting physical. It has a really simple 4/4 kick beat, some plucky bass in the back, a heck of a soaring chorus, and I actually really like the energy of the song, even though the tune itself isn't all that crazy or anything. I think it's the energy and the plucky bass that makes the song kind of catchy and kind of fun. And then afterwards, we have the track Levitating, which has some distorted synths as well as some fast, cheeky delivery by Dua Lipa herself. And the chorus is very summery and fun. It's a jam, and it's also a really nice feel good song that I kinda love. We also have the track Pretty Please, which is probably the quietest song on the entire album. It's really low key and very skeletal. It's really low key, it's really skeletal. We get this bass line and some vocals on top, and that's it. Just them alone, very bare bones. But overall, if a tune is this barren and this instrumental-less, I feel like the core of the melody of the song and the bass line should be more attractive or special or memorable, but really it's none of that. So this song sort of concludes as something rather average as well. And then we have the track Hallucinate with its booming 4/4 drum beats, some reverby, disorienting, spacey instrumentals, which I really love. Because the song is called Hallucinate, of course, the instrumentals have to be somewhat dreamy and trippy, and I actually kind of enjoy that. The chorus is just okay, I guess. Same goes for the verses, but it's still not a bad song at all. We have the track Love Again, which starts off with a very odd string section, which doesn't fit with the tone of the album at all. But we have the verses and the choruses, and they don't sound that bad, nor are they that great. And the verses and the choruses, they don't sound all that different apart from one another as well. So overall, the song is just okay. But then we have the track Break My Heart, which is also one of the better songs on the album, in my opinion. It's incredibly fun, jangly, and bouncy. We get a pre chorus which is filled, drenched with reverb. But then when it hits the chorus, it just gets super low key, super quiet. While it isn't this mind blowing transition, it's still a nice touch that I don't find a lot of generic pop artists doing in their music. Also, we get another slick, groovy bass on this track, and once again, if there is a slick, groovy bass, I can hardly resist a song. And we also have the track Good in Bed, which I also think is one of the highlights on the entire album. It's this cartoony, jaunty, fun pop song with a goofy, comical twist. I really love the chorus with its descending melodies. What I find really head scratchingly confusing, however, is that on the track Good in Bed, we have lyrics like, please come make it on me, or make it out on me, like spend your anger on me, or but in a sexual way, of course. And then immediately on the next track we have Boys Will Be Boys, which of course is a song about how boys will be boys. And Okay, let's not talk about the lyrics first. Let's talk about the music first. Musically, this track is weird. It doesn't sound similar to the rest of the album at all, though the rest of the album are basically late 80s, early 90s groovy, bassy pop jams, and then at the end we suddenly get this emotional, dramatic anthem. It just doesn't fit in the album at all. And then we have the lyrics on the track where Dua Lipa basically talks about how when she and other women walk on the streets alone at night, they need to put keys in their knuckles like Wolverine, and they need to protect themselves. But boys will be boys. They don't have to feel afraid. They can do whatever they want, and somehow women on the streets need to be alert of, oh my gosh, there's a boy coming, he may want to sexually assault me in the middle of the street. And I kind of get the sentiment that, um, as a woman in a very liberal society, or I should use the word free society, where men can actually do whatever they want, I guess, yeah, being afraid of sexually assaulted is a real thing, and I do kind of understand that. But then Dua Lipa sort of concludes this whole phenomenon with boys will be boys. Like, yeah, girls will be women, and we need to be afraid and alert at all times. But boys, they don't need to be afraid. Like, they can do whatever they want. They're super free. They're cool. And now, I'm not offended by the song at all, but I just have slight disagreements with the line "boys will be boys," as if there are nothing in this world that can make a boy afraid or make a boy cry in fear, because there are also many other things that can scare a boy and make a boy or a man cowardly. So I just kind of wish that Dua Lipa would uh, take different perspectives and look at the situation at different perspectives when writing the song. And but yeah, musically, lyrically, this song isn't really all that great. And even in the last verse on this track, Dua Lipa says, "If you're offended by the song, then there's something wrong with you." But yeah, I actually enjoy a majority of the track, and it is a very pleasant surprise that a majority of the songs on this album are actually quite enjoyable and quite awesome, with its groovy bass and catchy hooks and choruses. But still, of course, there are average generic moments, and the album ending is kind of underwhelming, but still, I'm enjoying it overall. My favorite track here is, this is a great question. What is my favorite song? Uh, Probably Don't Start Now. It's a really special song. Either Don't Start Now or Good in Bed. And my least favorite song here is Boys Will Be Boys. Unfortunately, haha, I'm a sexist. Ha. Like, watch, like, people call me out saying that I'm a sexist because I put Boys Will Be Boys as my least favorite song on the album, even though I have stated my reasonings on this album review. So I hope that nobody watching this video is that blind. But other than that, I still like this album quite a bit. Feeling a strong 7 out of 10. So, have you listened to Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like if you like it, hate if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. I will be reviewing Code Orange, Machine Girl, Sewer Slope, Rap Ferreira, Tennis, and more. And I will do one more album review. So, yeah,